Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we will follow a dramatic and emotional story, after a mysterious accident. Tien, the girl Jack loved the most, suddenly disappeared without a trace. No one knows where she is, whether she is alive or dead. But Jack never gives up. He embarks on a journey to find her with all his faith and despair. Will he be able to save Tien before it's too late? Let's find out right away. Early in the morning, the sunlight had just risen and shone on the large plot of land where Jack and Tien's dream house was gradually taking shape. The air was fresh, the wind blew gently, carrying the faint scent of grass and trees. In that scene, Jack and Tien were together taking care of the small garden in front of the house, where they would start a new life together after many storms. Jack rolled up his sleeves, holding a hoe in his hand, digging each hole neatly. Sweat was beading on his forehead, but his eyes still shone with joy and diligence like a real farmer. Tien stood next to him, holding a basket of saplings including bougainvillea, laurel, and a few fragrant white trumpet vine roots. She gently handed him each plant, constantly reminding him, remember to plant them straight. Later they will grow up in even rows and look very beautiful. Jack laughed, teasing back, the plants are planted tilted. It's because of the soil, not because of you. The two of them chatted happily, their laughter echoing throughout the garden. Jack dug the soil and said softly, I imagine sitting on the porch in the future, watching these flowers bloom, drinking afternoon tea. It must be so peaceful. Tien sat down on the grass, lightly brushed the soil off the basket of plants, and smiled gently. I just need to wake up every morning and see you. See this garden, that's enough. A moment later, the two of them took a break. Tien brought out a basket of fresh fruit, a few ripe mangoes, red plums, and a bottle of cool orange juice. They sat on a makeshift wooden chair on the porch, eating while enjoying the cool breeze blowing in from the fields. Jack took a sip of water and joked, gardening is really hard, but eating fruit prepared by my wife is really tiring. Tien glanced at him and tapped him on the shoulder. I've only dug a few holes and you're already saying it's hard. When I plant all these rows, it'll be even more tiring. Jack made a serious face, stood up and rolled up his sleeves. Then we have to hurry up and finish planting. In the afternoon we still have time to rest with you. Each small tree was planted, arranged in neat rows. The soil was filled in, and watered carefully. Smiles were always present on the faces of the two people, as if they were sowing seeds of happiness into this land. Although the house was still unfinished, without walls or doors, this place was filled with love, laughter and hope for a bright future ahead. Mrs. Tui lay on the rickety bamboo bed in the dilapidated house, her hands crossed over her forehead, her eyes staring at the dusty ceiling. The wind outside the porch blew through the crack in the door, making a whistling sound, but she didn't pay any attention. Her mind was filled with only one thought, how can I get money from Jack? All the tricks, threats, begging, crying, were almost exhausted now. Jack was becoming more and more alert, while Tien seemed to doubt everything she said. She sat up, touched Tien's ring, then slowly picked it up, fondling it with trembling fingertips. But at that moment, a flash of light flashed in her mind. She suddenly remembered, the day before, Jack had accidentally mentioned Mr. Dong. He said he was living on his farm, healthy, still gardening, planting trees as if nothing had happened. Mrs. Thai's eyes lit up with calculation. If I meet him, cry, complain, make up stories, then cleverly threaten, surely Jack and Tien will soften and give me the money. She smiled faintly. She had already drawn up a plan in her head. Go to the farm, make a fuss, create pressure, kill two birds with one stone, pressure Mr. Dong and make Jack take out his wallet. As Jack and Tien were meticulously planting flower beds along the fence of the new farm, the sunlight shining through the tree canopy made the fresh air even more pleasant. Jack gently pressed a bougainvillea stem into the hole and joked, the flowers will bloom beautifully later. We can take wedding photos here. Tien laughed, gently pinching his hand. Were you married yet and you want to take photos? But before they could finish laughing, they suddenly heard someone shouting loudly from the old farm below. Jack raised his head and frowned. It seems to be Mrs. Thai's voice? Tien also frowned slightly. Let's go down and see what's going on. The two of them dropped what they were doing and hurriedly followed the small dirt road leading down to the old house, where Mr. Dung was living. As soon as they got closer, they heard Mrs. Twee screaming, "You live here in luxury, while my mother and I go hungry one day and full the next. That dilapidated house doesn't even have a roof. If you don't help, tell Jack to give me the money." Mr. Dung sat down at the bamboo table, his face tense but still trying to keep his voice calm. "How many times have I told you? Don't come back here to cause trouble. How miserable Tien had to live under your and Chen's roof. Do you still have the face to see her? Go away." But Mrs. Twee still stood there, not showing any shame, her mouth screaming angrily, "I won't go. If you don't help, I'll find another way. I'll get this straight." Right at that moment, Jack and Tien walked over. Seeing the two, Mrs. Thai's expression immediately changed, lowering her voice to pretend to be gentle. I just came to pick Mr. Dung up and take him home." But he refused. "In that case, tomorrow I'll tell Tien to bring all his clothes here and stay with you." "Don't be so reckless," Mr. Dung growled. "This is not a place where you can come and go as you please. Or chase away as you please." The atmosphere became tense. Mrs. Twee turned to Tien, suddenly raised her hand, revealing the ring on her finger. "Here, this ring is yours. It took Tien several days to dig up some information about your biological parents. But Jack refused to give me the money. Then I will sell this ring to get some money to make ends meet." Tien stared at the ring, her eyes suddenly frozen. It was the ring she had worn as a child. Mrs. Dao had kept it for so many years. She choked up, unable to speak. Jack took a step forward, his voice calm but resolute. "It's not that I don't want to help. But if you really have information about Tien's relatives, then take us to meet them in person. Only when we see them with our own eyes and have evidence will I believe it." Mrs. Twee rolled her eyes, then shrugged, sighing as if offended. "Well, if you don't believe me, then forget it. I'm leaving." Saying that, she turned and walked away, but her eyes still glanced sideways full of calculation. That afternoon, after a light meal, Jack prepared to leave home for an important appointment with a partner. A contract worth billions of dong was waiting for him to sign. He was very excited, because this was a big turning point for the company that had just started operating. He picked up his briefcase, checked his phone, adjusted his shirt, and hurried to the car. Not long after Jack left, Mrs. Mai, Jack's mother, entered the living room and saw a thick stack of documents neatly placed on the table. Looking closely, she frowned. "Huh? Isn't this the contract that Jack mentioned this morning? He forgot to bring it." Tien was washing dishes in the kitchen when she heard it and rushed up. While wiping her hands, she said, "Let me bring it out to him. I think I'll still make it in time." Mrs. Mai nodded, shoved the file into her hand. "Yes, you try to bring it quickly, or you'll be late to sign his contract." Tien took the file and walked out of the house quickly. The sun was shining brightly. The intersection ahead was only about 100 meters away, but just as she crossed the street, a car from the other side suddenly rushed towards her at high speed, honking its horn loudly. Everything happened in a split second. The car braked suddenly but still didn't have time. The strong collision threw Tien onto the street. People around panicked and ran over. Some people shouted to call an ambulance. Others tried to open the door of the car that had just caused the accident. But the strange thing was that the driver quickly carried Tien into the car, slammed the door shut, and drove away without anyone having time to write down the license plate or take a picture. Meanwhile, at the meeting with the partner, Jack was sitting and waiting, occasionally glancing at his watch. It was time to sign the contract, but the file had not been brought yet. Suddenly he remembered. His face paled. "Oh no, I forgot the contract at home." He hurriedly took out his phone and called his mother. On the other end of the line, Mrs. Mai quickly replied, "I saw that you forgot, so I asked Tien to take it. You must be there by now." Jack frowned. His heart started to beat faster. He texted Tien but got no response. The phone rang but no one answered. Worry filled his heart. His partner was sitting waiting while his mind was in turmoil. After a few minutes of trying to hold back, Jack stood up to apologize and urgently said, "I'm very sorry. Something urgent happened. I hope to see you again later." He immediately drove home, calling continuously as he drove. When he got home, Mrs. Mai worriedly asked, "What? Can't you see her?" "No, I've been calling for a long time but can't get through." Mom, stay home. If Tien comes back, call me right away. I have to go find her now. After saying that, Jack rushed into the car. Feeling uneasy, his heart felt like it was on fire. He didn't know what was waiting for him ahead, but something was definitely wrong with Tien.